sleep well. He's still on his feet. Are you kidding me?
Big hole on the left to the 10, outside to the 5. This will be a dog walk.
Lamar Jackson will keep it off the right side. Hurdles a man.
Lamar Jackson, what he has brought to the Ravens is why they're winning.
Rivers to the end zone. Popped up in the air and caught.
Mack strips it. He is unbelievable.
Khalil Mack deserves Defensive Player of the Year.
Looking for Aguilar. Got to step on his man. Makes the catch at the 30. He can waltz in. Luck to pass down the middle has Hilton. And T.Y. Hilton makes the catch at the 25.
Andrew Luck, who was throwing a Nerf ball at the beginning of the season, has played lights out.
We get to go play another game in the playoffs and see what we can do. That's stinking awesome.
All right, welcome to the best show of the week. Let's go. This ain't no day before the day before. This is the day before right here.
That's right, the day before.
On NFL Live, you know, three-time Super Bowl champion is Darren Woods, another three-time Super Bowl champ, the great Teddy Bruschi holding down his spot over on the end. Let's get straight into these matchups. Big old wild card matchups headed your way. Seattle and Dallas have one previous playoff meeting, also wild card weekend back in 06, a game best remembered by Tony Romo going full whoopsie on the world. 19-yard field goal try late. And it didn't work out too great. Expect old school ground and pound football. Seattle led all teams in rushing in the regular season while Zeke Elliott finished as the league's top rusher for the second time in 3 NFL seasons. And things weren't all that rosy for Dak Prescott in his Week 3 meeting against Seattle either, where he completed just 56% of his passes and posted a QBR of 18, which are both season lows for Dak. So let's go straight to Dallas right now, where Jeff Darlington joins us live. Jeff, Zeke Elliott sat out Week 17, but what kind of a workload should we expect from him come Saturday night?
I don't know, Jack, maybe 100, 110 carries on Saturday, probably somewhere in there. I mean, this dude says that he feels so ready and so prepared for this game. He actually noted a couple days ago after taking the day off against the Giants, essentially a bye for Ezekiel Elliott, that normally it takes him until about Friday or Saturday to be ready for that Sunday game. But he was feeling ready for a couple days ago, and he knows going into this. There's all full transparency here in Dallas about Ezekiel Elliott's workload. He knows he's going in there, and he's going to get that rock early to try to establish this run for this Cowboys team. We should look on the other side of the ball, though. Bobby Wagner is playing out of his mind this season. That's going to be an interesting matchup, an incredible matchup this weekend. In fact, Jack, your boys at Pro Football Focus, you know that company right there, they say that Wagner has 138 tackles this year. He's only missed one of those attempted tackles. And really, if you go back to when that stat was kept, that's unprecedented. Bobby Wagner is doing things that nobody has done before at that position. So Wagner against Elliott, this is going to be an incredible matchup and likely going to dictate the outcome of this game.
Yes, sir. Check your Venmo, Jeff. That'll be on its way over. Thank you, sir. So what kind of a matchup does Zeke Elliott have coming here with the Seahawks defense, Bobby Wagner, just heard him mention?
All those tackle numbers, everything that Darlington just told you, I'm going to simplify it by this one statement. You get a body on Bobby, and Dallas is going to be able to have success running the football. Looking back to their matchup earlier in the year, they're different teams, yes, but the one constants are Bobby Wagner and Ezekiel Elliott. You see right here, he's so good at deciphering. If you don't get a blocker on him and get him covered up, this is what will happen. -1. That's how good he is. He can decipher. He can follow Zeke wherever he goes. If this is the way it's going to be right here, Jack, it's going to be 15 tackles. It's going to be 20 tackles, whatever it is, because he's the best in the business this year. An all-pro, that's how good he is. But if you get a body on Bobby, just like this, if it's 1, if it's 2, get hands on him, alter his path. This is what it was in that first matchup. Zeke getting down 10, 15, 20 yards down the field, because sometimes, truthfully, with the Seahawks defense, if it's not Bobby, I don't know who it's going to be. So body on him right here. If it's a puller, getting off to the second level, grab him if you have to. Simplification. You get a body on Bobby, the Dallas run game will have success.
Body or no body. That
sounds like a song, man.
You all right?
Body on Bobby.
Anybody sing? All right, so you were a defensive leader on some of the best teams that Dallas ever had. Still live in Dallas. Explain to me the pressure this team is under.
Well, it's not just the team, it's individuals as well. Dak Prescott's going to be under some pressure, but based off of the success that this organization has had in the past. When you look at the history of this organization, the Roger Staubachs of the world, the Troy Aikmans have had big-time success as far as winning playoff games, advancing in that manner, becoming heroes within Dallas, winning Super Bowls. But then over the years, things have changed. Tony Romo had a chance. As great as Tony Romo's career was, he only won 2 playoff games in his time as a Dallas Cowboy. Dak needs to find a way to set himself and set his legacy within this organization this game around. Last year they lost to the Green Bay Packers. This time around, they need to find a way to win this game and continue moving forward. But it's about his legacy. And he's a historian, man. He understands the game of football. Right. He knows exactly where he fits.
And there are certain franchises where you're not really in any type of conversation until you make deep playoff runs.
Yes.
Dallas Cowboys are up at the top with that.
There you go, Van Der Esch, Jalen Smith. This Cowboys defense can run.
Yeah.
So can Russell Wilson. He can extend that thing like nobody else. How can they make life tough on Russ, do you think, Wood?
Look, they're going to have to do a lot, because the one thing about Russ is that you cannot give him the splash plays. You can't give him those big over-the-top, the Tyler Lockett plays down the field. Make him earn it, and do not give him a chance to be off schedule. I mean, I don't care. Even if you don't sack Russ, find a way to have your angles, make sure that he can't out-leverage you, get on the outside, on the perimeter, and make the big plays, because he's at his best when he's off schedule, when he's playing backyard football. You cannot allow him to get on the perimeter.
And the easy game plan scheme to stop him is pass rush discipline, don't run back, don't run behind the quarterback, push up the pocket. But with him, it's different. Right? You can't do it. He's going to get out. So this is more of an effort pass rush game, in my opinion. And this guy, DeMarcus Lawrence, once you get there and you miss him, because you will miss Russell Wilson. He's just got that lower body strength. You have to chase and chase and chase in those 7-second, those 8-second plays, because that's how long he'll extend them.
I'll tell you who else is super slippery in that pocket. Lamar Jackson.
Yes.
I mean, you see Bosa, you see Melvin Ingram just whiff on him. A big old Week 16 rematch is coming. Baltimore defense had LA to a season-low 10 points, but now the rematch. 21-year-old on fire Lamar Jackson and 37-year-old Phillip Rivers meet Sunday in what will be the third largest age gap between two starting quarterbacks in NFL postseason history. Jackson was 7 years old when Rivers threw his first NFL pass back in January of 2005, and Sunday can't come soon enough for LJ.
Definitely, and it's just the name, the playoff, that whole thing. You're trying to get the championship now. It was for us to get in it, and we're in it now, so we want the big thing. I can taste it. It's like Thanksgiving, that food, sweet potato pie. Definitely, I'm trying to taste that victory for my birthday Monday, so yeah, it's to be big.
And since naming Jackson the starter in Week 11, the Ravens have reshaped their offensive identity. They have turned into the best running and ball control team in the NFL, going 6-1 in Jackson's 7 starts. That only loss came to the Chiefs, and it was in overtime, could very easily be undefeated. But the big question surrounding the Ravens' run option offense is the stability of it. For more on the Ravens, here is our Ravens reporter, Jamison Hensley.
There's been a lot of talk this week about the fact that the Chargers are the first team to face Lamar Jackson and this unconventional Ravens offense for the second time this season, and how familiarity could help them slow down Baltimore. But the Ravens, they're just not concerned. Backup quarterback Robert Griffin III put it best, comparing the Ravens' run option offense to a Michael Jordan fadeaway jumper. He says, yeah, it's coming, but it's difficult to stop because ultimately talent takes over. Coach John Harbaugh believes the key to the running game is the unselfishness of his players. You have wide receivers like Michael Crabtree, John Brown, and Willie Snead buying into a system where they're blocking more than they're catching the ball. That's why Harbaugh believes this is his best team in his 11 years in Baltimore. Now, back to you, Jack.
Nicely done there, James. I like that little comparison, too. The fadeaway jumper.
Best team in 11 years, huh?
Oh, do you have a little something sharp there at the end? I got lost in the jumper saw. So this is the first taste of playoff football for Lamar Jackson. What do you guys remember most about going from the regular season into the playoffs, where everything seems to be a little bit different?
It's just a different feel when you walk into the stadium on game day, when it's a playoff game. It's, there's not that many credentials during the regular season. You don't see that many people on the sideline. Well, you walk in on the playoff game, and there's a ton of people on the sideline, family members, sponsors, everyone's out there. The media's out there early, and there's not empty seats. There's not a whole lot of empty seats when you show up early for those games. And I just remember that buzz. We played. My first playoff game was in 1992, and I feel like I still remember it today. And it's just walking out the tunnel and feeling the energy within that stadium.
Same thing with me. First rookie playoff game, 1996. You're a safety, former safety. I'm a former linebacker. But we as defensive players, you feel that pressure. You feel that excitement, that adrenaline. You can go out there and hit somebody. You can go out there and run around and run on kickoff and just let it out and just scream. I can't imagine for a quarterback, a rookie quarterback going out there. You don't have that. You can't just go out there and go crazy. You got to stay calm. You got to stay calm and still realize you got a play to call, you got a defense to read, you got a ball you got to deliver in certain places. So it's a lot different for rookie quarterbacks. You got 2 defenders out here that just went out and smashed. That's what we did. That's how we dealt with the pressure. It's going to be interesting to see how Lamar deals with that.
Well, they haven't shook him yet. We know that. I mean, he goes all the way across the country on a short week, beats the Chargers in what's effectively kind of a playoff game.
This game is not too big for him.
It's not too big for him.
He's going to show up.
So, Teddy, how would you defend Lamar Jackson if you are the Chargers defensive coordinator? It's all up to you.
Well, first, I got to stop the run. I got to stop the quarterback runs because also if I'm the offensive coordinator of the Baltimore Ravens and I'm Marty Morningweg, how I get Lamar settled is I call runs early on. I'm going quarterback power. I'm going quarterback counter. Just so go ahead, get hit, take it down the field, and then now let's play. So I got to worry about that true discipline, that 11-on-11 football if I'm that Los Angeles Charger defense. Who's your quarterback player? In the first game, they used a safety. You saw the Browns, they used Jabril Peppers. It doesn't matter sometimes. It's discipline, it's assignment football, it's gap control. It's almost like you're playing a military academy, okay, at times because of all those options that they have and how creative it is. You got fullback, you got pitch, you got quarterback. You got to be assignment right in this game to start it especially.
As a defensive player, it's tough to be disciplined. I mean, you just can't follow the eye candy. You got to stay within your lane and do, like you guys used to always say, do your job.
It's unfamiliar.
Exactly.
It's unfamiliar. You don't go up against a scheme like this every week where you have to be assignment oriented.
Yeah, and I look at the Chargers. When I look at the Chargers, my deal is, they can't start off slow. They've been starting off slow every weekend. You're starting to see this team. They don't turn it on till the second half. They can't do that. They have to find a way to put the pressure on early in this game, put points up on this football team, and force Lamar Jackson to throw the ball to get back into this game. So big time on first and second downs. Defensively, they got to stop him on first and second down. Put him in 3rd and long, 3rd and 10, and let's see if Lamar Jackson can complete passes on the outside.
That's the recipe. Nobody's really been able to do it yet.
Yeah.
But that's the recipe in the theory. What about for Melvin Gordon? How should the Chargers use him in this game?
Look, they got to use him. It's much like the Cowboys have been using Ezekiel Elliott. They got to find a way to get Melvin Gordon the ball early in this game because they can't just rely on the explosive plays against the Baltimore Ravens. Dink and dunk them, the screen game, Melvin Gordon out of the backfield. Get him in situations where he's in space, one-on-one with the linebackers, and make plays down the field. Don't always look for the splash play against the Baltimore Ravens. Sometimes they're going to make you, most of the time, they're going to make you earn it.
I want to see how Melvin Gordon does in protection because he failed at that in that earlier matchup. He didn't know who to block. They ran pick stunts. He was confused with the offensive line. Do they make a protection adjustment, maybe a free release like Darren's talked about, because there is so much going on in there. If you aren't right in your protection and you use that back to handle those games, he's got to be right. He wasn't the first matchup.
And Chargers have been awesome on the road, too. Worth thinking about as well. So coming up on NFL Live, Teddy and Darren are going to take them out of the ring, really, is what I'm hearing. We're going to take them into the wild for a little wild card edition of Tape Off, and believe me, it's going to get all kinds of weird in the best way. Plus, everyone loves a good comeback. All 3 comeback kings on the field come Saturday, where the Colts and Texans go head-to-head.
2 teams that have come back from poor records, 1-5, 0-3.
That's stinking awesome.
I just want to win.
Just go out there and you just play.
Has your
Colts, Texans, about as evenly matched 2002. Watson's been a smooth operator, too, working out a play action in just 2 NFL seasons. Since entering the NFL last year, he's got the 2nd best QBR in the NFL using the play fake, and Watson is averaging the 2nd most yards per attempt and his 18 touchdown passes, trail only Russell Wilson and Jared Goff. So let's talk about the Texans a little bit, because they lose Will Fuller, then they go out, they get Demaryius Thomas, they lose him to IR too. So it's bang, bang. Pretty much DeAndre Hopkins is all that they have at this point in the passing game is going to get open. How does Watson win?
Well, you would think that, you got to pass the ball and find ways of even bringing in another receiver to help him out. Listen, I think Bill O'Brien's done a good job all year of taking his time with with Deshaun Watson, and now what they're doing is running these zone options here, and this is one of the plays they're running. You're seeing the freeze that he has there and the ability to get to the edges and outrun the defender here. This is what's made him special since high school. He's a special player when he has the ball in his hands, and now they're taking the training wheels off him and letting him run these zone options here. And again, look, you see the freeze here. He holds it in the belly here, let the linebacker step up. The defensive end crashes down, and he's reading that, and he's back off to the edges again. big play for this team. Move the chains, get to first down all over again. And here's the one that's really special. The ability to hold there and be patient with this football, allow that defensive end to crash down, and then you see the linebacker, you see the tight end block on the outside. I have no idea what the safety's doing out there. But at the same time, the ability to move the chains with his legs and maintain long drives as they go on. It's not always about the big splash plays down the field. In the playoffs, run the football, be consistent.
And Watson, with these injuries to the receivers, Watson may be really holding the ball, which is something he already did. How big of an issue is this Colts front for that offensive line for the Texans?
Yeah, this offensive line has struggled. The quarterback has struggled recognizing, seeing pressure. A lot of things you think that are elementary at this point, they're still having struggles with. You see it right here. This is pressuring the passer 101. 3-by-1, slot corners on the slot, on the line of scrimmage, creeping in. Here he comes. But Deshaun looks like he didn't see him. He looks like, whoa, where'd you come from? This is the same thing from the previous matchup with the Colts. Later in the football game, it's the same pressure. He's looking in. He's looking into the quarterback. It's where quarterback should say, hey, man, I see he's coming. Make a check. But he doesn't. And a simple movement by a defensive lineman confuses this offensive line. And there's a free runner coming up the middle. It's the third time they've met. And you think, oh, they've seen each other. They're familiar. That doesn't look familiar. They look like they've never seen that four-strong pressure before, linebacker, slot corner. He gets startled like he hasn't seen it, like they've never seen an Indianapolis Colts defensive lineman move, which movement they are predicated on quickness. Something's wrong there. It has to be fixed for them to win this game.
Interesting. So with Luck heading home to Houston, so too is our Dan Graziano, our friend Dan. Dan, these two teams, what are they saying right now about the importance and maybe how they're going to protect Watson and Andrew Luck? Maybe tough to do.
Yeah, Jack, two different stories when it comes to protecting the quarterback here with the Colts and the Texans this year. Start with Andrew Luck. He's only been sacked 18 times all year. Now, 6 of those came in the 2 games against the Texans. But when I talked to Texans defensive coordinator Romeo Crennel, he said it's not easy. He said because the offensive line has been strong, and Luck, to Teddy's point, does a very good job of helping with his own protection. He's big and strong and fast and can escape the rush and help out that offensive line to an extent that maybe Deshaun Watson isn't at this point in his career. Very important for the Colts. They're getting center Ryan Kelly back for this game, they expect. So when that offensive line is whole, that makes a big difference. Flip it over to the Houston side where Deshaun Watson has been sacked 62 times this year. And that's a big problem, obviously, for the Texans, as everybody knows. But if there's a silver lining, I talked to quarterbacks coach Sean Ryan. He said Watson is doing a better job of protecting himself when he gets outside the pocket, of knowing when the journey is over and he needs to run out of bounds or throw it away in order to protect himself. So that's the sort of progression they're going with with Watson in his second year here. But obviously they're trying to make the best of a difficult situation with a quarterback who's been hit way too many times.
Dan, thank you very much, sir. And a reminder, this game is on ABC, ESPN, and ESPN Deportes Saturday, 4:35 Eastern, 1:35 Pacific. Luck headed home to Houston for the Colts and those no, he is the Colts. He's headed home for the Texans. Let's put it that way. There we go. Coverage starts in postseason. It'll be 3 Eastern, noon Pacific, both on the ESPN app. Up next on NFL Live, Teddy and Darren go head-to-head in a tape-off that's all about preying on the weak.
Let's get it.
Make believers out of non-believers. Make believers out the overseers. Make them bow down when they need us.